In light of these latest developments, we confer with Dr. Mohammed Dan Suleiman, a political science lecturer at the School of Social Sciences at the University of Western Australia. He is an international relations analyst, joining us with more on this. Doc, now, great to have you here, Dr. Suleiman. First off, what's your reaction to the current condition of the deposed Guinean president? Did you expect this?
Thank you very much. To say I expected it is to say that I knew that a coup was going to happen. So in that regard, I would say no. But to say I expected it because the conditions that create coups were present in Guinea, then I would say yes. And recently, you've realized that there have been a lot of democracies in reverse gear across the continent, and Guinea is not an exception. So to some extent, given the conditions in a lot of African countries, including in Guinea, and looking at the way that democracy seems to be making a return, is beginning to make a U-turn, I can say that I expected something like this in Guinea, and I still continue to expect things like this happening in other African countries, unless the powers that be, in this instance, Ecowas in the West African sub-region, and other regional economic groups around the continent do the needful to ensure that the conditions that warrant coups to happen are removed to prevent such escalations as happened in Guinea last week.
Now, our Foreign Affairs Minister, Ayorkor Botchwey, says ECOWAS has been engaging behind the scenes in the face of the barrage of criticism in the manner in which it is managing the crisis. What do you think of that?
Well, if all economic communities, regional economic communities across the continent will tell you the same thing if something happens in the countries that are under their jurisdiction. It is not a question of whether ECOWAS engaged or not. It's a question of the results of that engagement. If you are engaging and you are not getting the actors involved to act in the right manner, then I dare say that there is no need, there isn't much substance to your engagement. Yeah, no one has said that the ECOWAS did not engage. I would expect that the ECOWAS would engage. But what has been the outcome of that engagement? That should be the question that we should be asking ourselves.
Now, moving forward, even on the stance of engagement, we know tomorrow 7 heads of state will be, converging right here in Accra. Does this suffice so far in terms of measures adopted? And should we be excited? If so, why?
First of all, we would wait for what that summit would throw at us. If you consider the previous summit that came immediately following the coup, we had 2 main developments. First was sanctioning Guinea, and second was sending a delegation to talk to the coup leaders. Now, if we are to expect similar results from the upcoming summit, then I would say that we shouldn't be too happy. We shouldn't be too excited to think that something very, very meaningful will come from such summits, because this is not the first time a coup has happened in the West African sub-region. We had a coup we've had so far in the last nine months, we've had 2 coups in Mali and an attempted coup in Niger. So we should ask ourselves, what was the reaction of ECOWAS in terms of the coup that happened in Mali? Recently, there are concerns that the plan to return Mali to civilian rule, to return Mali to rule of law, is hitting a lot of roadblocks. So if this is the history we have, then I, for one, wouldn't be too excited about the outcome of the summit that is to come. That said, ECOWAS is all we have to some extent in the region, so we cannot discredit what it can do. But we have to live. We have to wait and see exactly what the summit will come forth with.
Doc, thank you so much for your time, for engaging us. Dr. Mohammed Dan Suleiman is a political science lecturer at the University of Western Australia. Do you have a good day?